So I went to Boston, Massachusetts for the first time ever about 2 months ago. It was my first time in New England and really kind of my first time on the East Coast in general. This was right before the lockdown and the quarantine, so it's a little weird, not gonna lie. Me and 4 other friends made pretty much the longest journey you can across the United States. We really couldn't go much further if we tried. This is like the longest we could go still staying in the country. Ricky and Frank, my 2 editors, came with us. Donald, who's made previous appearances in older videos on the channel. And then there's Jake. He's just Jake. Frank vlogged the whole thing. We were there for 7 days and he has 7 videos. It was literally like daily. His channel is called Frank Sanchez. Definitely go check the link down below just to see how wild it got. So Boston is like one of the most historical cities in all of the US. It kind of felt like one giant museum where people also happen to live and work at the same time. I've also never had that kind of experience with public transit before. They had metros, trains, boats, ferries, and I was really only used to taking the bus in California. Had experience dealing with hobos though. A lot of experience with that. So I'm bringing you the first map of the day. It's a metro map. All right, let me tell you what's going on. We got England attacking down from the south. We got the Spaniards coming in from the west. Doing a little. Oh my man. Oh yeah, that's fine. I was also really shocked to see steam coming out of the ground for the first time. I legit thought that only happened in video games. So on our first day, we did probably my favorite thing of the whole trip. The Freedom Trail. You follow these red bricks all throughout the city for 2.5 miles, and it takes you to 16 different historical sites. Now, normally, it takes the average person about 2 hours to complete. Well, we were a little weird, and it took us like 8 or 9 hours. We just really wanted to see everything. So we started from the Boston Common, and our journey would end all the way up here to Bunker Hill. All right, so we're here at the start. These are the first few bricks that we're gonna take. Bam, okay, so for sure, I'm gonna do the full trail. All these other fools ain't doing the full trail. So they can't say it technically.
Walking on the trail.
Get on the trail. Get on the trail.
Yeah, bro, you guys aren't even on the trail, man. What are you doing? You're in the lava. There we go. There we go. There we go.
2.5 miles. Do not step outside of the bricks. I kind of did right now. We got to see Paul Revere's house, the USS Constitution, and even the Massachusetts State House. That was actually one of my favorite parts of the whole thing, just because, like I said, we were willing to do anything just to see as much as possible.
I don't even know if we're supposed to be going this way. I just walked down this way.
Yeah.
This is the State House. I think this is like for all of Massachusetts. This is where like all the state senators are and stuff like that.
Yeah, their offices right there.
Yeah. I started seeing all their names. I'm like, I don't think we're supposed to be here. We're at the House of Representatives, guys. Look at this. Oh my God. What is going on? This is where the diplomat to Mexico chills. This is where the diplomat to Peru chills. This is where Frank normally chills.
That's my side.
The UN, we got the UN meeting right here. Uganda usually chills back there. Chad usually in the front because, you know, he's with all the chicks.
So after we left the State House, there was a surprising amount of cemeteries, just all throughout the city. It was like huge skyscrapers and then just a random 300-year-old cemetery like right in the middle of the street. I don't think I've ever been into as many cemeteries as I was during this week-long trip. I was actually just worried that like a zombie apocalypse was gonna happen and we were gonna have to battle all these old colonial skeletons that were gonna pop out of the ground. Hopefully they all still just use muskets so that it takes a lot of extra time to reload.
Like I said, this is the second oldest building in Boston, and this is also where they did the tea party thingy, the Boston Tea Party thing. This is where they planned to throw that shit in the water. Isn't that? Oh, pretty sure. Something like that. And this is a picture of old people.
I bought this map at Paul Revere's house at the old school Boston. I now have it on my wall in the background of all my videos. We weren't allowed to film inside of his house though, but it was still pretty cool to be inside this old school building that was at least like 200 years old. It was also kind of scary at the same time. English settlement and colonial era was between the 1600s and the 1700s, by the way. Native American settlements.
Hey,
we got
Drew.
Frank.
Drew. No one cares.
There's only 5 more historical sites. We've hit 11. This is number 11, but there's
Oh,
there's
wow.
16 left. The problem is each one now like requires a walk. They even told me like you should just do it instead of
Yeah?
coming back. Yeah. So like that was like a sign like okay, yeah.
I heard that they didn't even know what the hell the Freedom Trail was.
Yep. They said
That's insane.
they haven't
Even
done
though
it
they
since
live
they were
here.
like little tiny kids.
Really?
So you could tell like we're so super like touristy like coming through here.
Yeah.
So we ended all the way up at Bunker Hill, and that was pretty cool because I just recently played a Roblox game that was all about that, and I found it very educational. Very accurate, too. Probably very accurate. So Bunker Hill is the site of one of the most iconic battles that took place during the American Revolution, and I now just realized that for any of my British fans out there, I'm sorry I gotta bring up these memories again. It's alright, you'll get us next time. We then got to visit America's oldest restaurant. This place is apparently 200 years old, so I figured this is like the perfect time to try clam chowder for the first time. It luckily wasn't also 200 years old, although that would have been an experience too. But yeah, I had honestly like never tried it until this point, and I figured, you know, Boston's probably the best time to just see what all the hype's about. The next day, we continued to be bad influences by sneaking into Harvard University. That was interesting. It was pretty much like Hogwarts to me. The buildings were so old and they were all like looking like a castle. I was waiting to turn the corner and see Harry at some point.
To think about like every single person we pass is like the golden valedictorian of their high school. Like every single person was like each high school, they just dominated their high school. That's every single one that we're seeing. Or their dad paid like a shit ton of money and they got it like that.
Me and Donald realized is that everyone here is young. We're old now.
Yeah.
So we
It
definitely
looks
don't
weird.
look like we belong here.
Yeah. It's very obvious. It's so obvious.
Super obvious.
But then
especially
again, I
'cause,
think we might feel self-conscious. I bet you if we ask them, they're like, maybe. They're not thinking about it. They're just focused on getting
yeah,
to class.
all of them's just going to class. They don't give a crap. We're over here
Yeah.
like freaking super obvious as hell.
I know,
with
we
a
got this big old camera.
We checked out a couple on-campus sites to try to learn as much as possible. We figured while we were at Harvard, we should probably try to have an educational experience. And trust me, we definitely digested as much information as possible. We're definitely like valedictorian scholars now. So technically, the whole point of the trip was just to go to PAX East, the Penny Arcade Expo held in Boston every year. I'd never been to one of those before. I had been to E3 back at home, but this was really different. There's a lot more fans at PAX, and the games were more suited for my channel as well, so I was loving it. Although, I did get sick exactly 1 week after this event, so that's kind of an uncomfortable thought.
We're at PAX finally.
We're
we
at
made
PAX.
it. Dude, the walk wasn't even that bad. We didn't even take the bus.
There's my so I can show Ricky later and make him feel like shit. Alright, girl, which character are you?
This guy got a beard, so he's definitely not me, but Frank not. I look like this guy.
That's you right there, and I'm gonna be that brown dude over there.
Of course,
Alright.
of course. Hey, we gotta go.
Why you sucking balls, bro?
And I just
And you
grabbed
just
it.
stole my life, you bastard. Damn. Dude, Drew, you suck at that game, dog.
I suck at all games.
Suck balls.
That's why I don't play games.
Yeah, I can see why you just
I'm
watch
not
games.
good at games.
Since we were in Boston, though, we had to visit one of the oldest stadiums in America, the iconic Fenway Park. I'm not even a baseball fan, but I can still appreciate the 100+ years of history. Plus, I guess it was kind of a super weird time to be showing up since the Red Sox are kind of in the middle of a pretty big controversy right now. That was kind of awkward.
And all it was just a little,
farming out here.
weird
Seeds,
fire.
Sunflower seeds.
Is it sunflower seeds? I don't know. This is the original rooftop, guys. 1912. This is where they grow their stuff.
We're gonna Photoshop Frank's face right there. You won't see his body. It's perfect because he's shorter, so you know he'll be like right there. I don't know why I'm saying that. I'm the same height as Frank, so.
In order to get an overarching view of Boston, we went to the Skywalk Observatory, and I just remember being so shocked at how different the architecture was. I know that's strange, but it's like the biggest thing that continued to pop out at me.
But I found some really cool things for us to film. There's an amazing citizenship test that me and Frank and Ricky have to do. Trying to collect them, and then we're gonna go. Okay, we're doing editors versus boss. Editors versus boss. 2 brains versus 1.
Don't let Drew see us.
Might as well just wait. Wait, you already picked?
Yeah, we chose. So you can choose.
Oh, okay.
Well, currently our boss knows.
You better know this, Frank. You better know this. Hey, make sure he picks. Make sure
He
Frank
already
picks. so
chose.
that he knows.
And I actually
Oh, okay.
do know because I know because I looked it up. She's a
Wannabe 1 is blue. Congratulations! Get ready to dance prime time with Uncle Sam.
How? She got him wrong.
Yeah, she got like 2 wrong at least.
So I guess my editors will get to keep their jobs for now.
Apparently Boston has everyone from every country of the world in it, and you can like zoom in and pick anything, and it'll show you who lives here. So there's 14,000 Germans because there's 14,000, 600,000 Germans. I'm just trying to see if it's true. 23,000 British, a lot in all of America. But let's see. What about Luxembourg? That's a tiny one. This one dude. Oh, 85. I want to see like what's the smallest population that they have on this map. Oh, you know what? Because we've been seeing a lot of Russians. Let's just check this. Oh, that's not as much as I thought.
It's immigrants, yeah.
Yeah, Russian immigrants, yeah.
Australia?
Let me check one of these small islands. 0! We found it!
Whoa!
Nobody in
From
Massachusetts, but
Tuvalu.
there's only 20 in all of 6.
6.
That's, if you could find 6, you tell me we got pictures for these people.
We got.
Yeah! What?
Wow! How
How
is that possible, Drew?
How is 6? That is, no, they're embellished. These numbers are not correct. There's no way these numbers are correct. How are they 6,000?
Now, personally, the day I was looking forward to most was by far visiting Salem, Massachusetts, and getting to see all them witches. I never really knew the exact story leading up to this point, but I ended up feeling pretty sad though. Not only because of the story and what happened to those girls, but just for the city itself, because it's really only known for one thing, There were witch museums, witch houses, witch restaurants, even a witch mall. Like, that's gotta be pretty annoying. I'd love to go back for Halloween, though. I'm just saying. It seems like it'd be pretty insane.
All right, Donald, so that building right there is from 1770, a Victorian era building. Look how basic it is. It's just like a shitty Minecraft house. That's what it's reminding me of. Nothing fanciful, and then they use the same material. It's not like they actually got bricks. You know how like you have to, it's really difficult to make bricks?
All wood.
Nope, they just chop the wood down.
Even the doors. Even the door handles.
What is this?
This is Friendship of Salem, is a full-size, fully operational replica of Friendship. Replica, I see how it is, which is from 1797. This boat looks actually not that old for 1797. Maybe it's just freshly painted. That's the reason
really
why.
Nicely. You don't need to...
You get that, Jake? Look at that. Oldest in Salem.
Uh-huh.
They got fuel buried here from, it's like 1637. It's like 400 years ago.
Oldest, one of the oldest ones.
It's crazy that, like, look at that, the captain, there's a Mayflower passenger on there.
Yeah.
When was the Mayflower, like 1500s? I don't know.
Something like that.
There's so much more that I didn't get to cover here. Like I said in the beginning, Frank made like a whole documentary about our 7-day trip. But there's a lot of hidden moments in there that I think you guys would really enjoy. So definitely go check that out. I'll leave a link to the playlist down below. See you next time. And big thanks to the April patrons: Elphie C, Elijah Senpai, SwissAargau, Maxy G, Pizza, KS, Kawalerzysta, LuxembourgLover, Riley A, Mayonnaise Incorporated, Seth A, BallinLikeStalin, Tyler Beach, Pelovski, Daddy Kim, Supreme Leader of the Universe, Cleven, Sleeper56, and Millatime. Thank you.